Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Dubious Monk's Thought Portal, the YouTube channel where we discuss, among other things, and including but not limited to, magic, sorcery, UFOs, the paranormal, politics, philosophy, and other topics that are adjacent to those. I am Nathan Doobie, and I will be your host. So without further ado, let's jump into today's topic, which is Chaos Magic Sigils, the process of creating them and successfully launching them, known as sigilization. First things first, what is a sigil? From the Chaos Paradigm perspective, a sigil is a symbolic reference to a statement of desire. A statement of desire, for example, being, I wish I had a new car. A great wish, not so great a statement of desire. It would be better if you were to say, I have a new car, suggesting both to your subconscious mind and the universe that you already have what you're trying to obtain. Once you have your statement of desire, you write it down on a piece of paper, and you eliminate the vowels and repeating letters. What you are left with is a collection of letters. You will combine these into a symbol. You will know when the symbol is right based upon your own creativity, your human ingenuity, and just what you think makes sense to your mind. Once you have the symbol, you need to charge it. Generally speaking, you need to get into an altered state of consciousness, stare at the symbol until you feel that it has been consumed, and then ultimately you are ready to move forward to the next step, which is either to destroy the sigil or to leave it in the background in your office or your kitchen so that you achieve what is known as low attention processing, I believe is the term from marketing and advertising. If you're interested to learn more aspects about that, I would point you to the Rune website and podcast. Now, does it make a difference if you destroy it or you leave it in the background for low attention processing? Like all creative endeavors, you're going to find what you like and don't like about sigilization and what does and does not work for you. For example, some people like to hand draw or paint their sigils and put a lot of intense creative energy into it. Other people use digital sigil generators, which create sigils in a very short amount of time. There are pros and cons to both of these. Taking a look at the first option, making them by hand, either drawing, painting, or some other type of artistic approach, this is going to make ultimately a more powerful sigil. However, it's going to be much harder to forget what the sigil means, or rather what the desire associated with that symbol is. And that's a very important step. If you charge a sigil, but you remember what the desire associated with it is, it will not implant into your subconscious, sprout, and grow into the manifestation of your desire. This is called the lust of result. As far as the who, what, why, and where this works, I'm not going to dig too deeply into that. I just want to give you a tactic that I know from personal experience works when you do it right and has provided me with some pretty impressive results, which we will discuss later in this video. But as far as the who, what, why, and where, I would point you to a couple of resources which I will add links in the description. First and foremost, the writings of Austin Osman Spare, and then Rune Soup, owned by proprietor Gordon White, which is a podcast, website, and YouTube channel. There'll be some other resources that kind of explain the science and magic behind this, but as that's not the focus of the video, let's return to the main concept with a quick overview. Again, a sigil is a symbolic reference to a statement of desire. It is a symbol that is literally meant to mean that statement of desire. Again, the statement of desire that we used earlier was, I have a car, or rather, I have a new car. You write it down on a piece of paper, remove the vowels and the repeating letters, take the remaining letters after you have removed them, put them all together, make a symbol, charge it through focusing on it during an altered state of consciousness, and then either leaving it in a random place where you will see it in your peripheral vision day in and day out randomly throughout the day, or destroy it. Some people say that if you don't destroy it, it won't manifest. Others say that it is better not to destroy them and to leave them so that you randomly see it day in and day out. As far as what works best for you, this is going to take experimentation. I myself have done both, but as I've gotten older, I tend not to destroy them. I tend to just leave them in random places. Although, when I first started, there was something very satisfying and empowering about destroying the sigils, particularly if they were creative ones that were made via drawing or painting. With that being said, you really do need to avoid the lust of result in order for them to manifest. So when you're creating a sigil that is hand-drawn or painted, it's much harder to forget what they mean because you have a more intense personal connection to the glyph or symbol. Again, not everybody agrees that the lust of result is even real, or rather, I think there are some people who it does not affect to some extent or at all. For me, it's definitely been a problem, so while I do enjoy making more artistic sigils, and I've used that process, today I tend to use sigil generators. Currently, sigilengine.com is probably the most well-known and easy to access. I had previously used one at a website called 17hex.net/sigil. Unfortunately, it appears that website is no longer functioning, so for the time being, I would suggest sigilengine.com, which creates a quasi-sigil. It's really more of a camea in a way, which is a topic for another video. But the reason I like using that is because you can create sigils for your statements of intent much quicker. And the technique I'm going to discuss now, which is called shoaling and was created by proprietor of runesoup.com, Gordon White, helps you to eliminate the lust of results and get better results for the manifestation of your desires through the process of sigilization. How it works is you create, let's say, 5 to 10 sigils for different statements of desire. I personally like to make 5 to 10 similar sigils for similar statements of desire because it's easier to forget what each symbol means. And when you go to charge 5 to 10 sigils of similar intent, the brain confuses which goes with which, and it's an excellent and quick way to destroy the lust of result. Once you have your 5 to 10 sigils, you charge them one after another until you have completed. Then it's up to you whether you want to leave them in the background for low attention processing or destroy them. Again, a lot of this comes down to personal choice, and as you practice, you will find what works best for you. Again, as of late for myself, I tend to just leave them hanging around for low attention processing. So, to give you an example of some of the desires I've manifested in my life, this includes scoring some pretty significant sales that were virtually impossible to land when I was working in corporate America as a salesman. As a former touring musician, I got to open shows for some legendary musicians and some of my personal favorites, members of the Grateful Dead, the Allman Brothers, Big Brother and the Holding Company, and on 2 separate occasions, Johnny Winter, who is a blues guitar legend. Now, obviously there was other work, both magical and mundane, that went into acquiring those experiences, but sigil magic was certainly a part for each of those. One of the more interesting stories I have, and honestly the only way that you can decide if magic, for this video we'll specifically talk about sigil magic, is real, is to do it yourself. And quite frankly, I like sigil magic because it's useful even for the atheist. Certain types of magic involve the belief in spirits. Sigil magic does not require the belief in religion, spirituality, angels, demons, or anything like that. It can work from a purely psychological perspective, and if you give it a shot and you do it right, you will see results. So even if, you think magic in general is a load of horseshit, you can still get a lot out of sigil magic. As to why it works, that's something that you're going to have to figure out. But it's interesting because there are quite a few atheists in the chaos magic community, And the reason for that is it does not require a belief in spirits, spirituality, heaven, hell, or anything like that. So my personal case study that I think you guys will find interesting. I used to work for a copier company. We sold copiers, printers, fax machines, document management software, various IT-based technologies and hardware equipment and software and consumables. Now, I was going to say it's probably somewhere between 2010 and 2013, where after having spent about a decade really reading deeply into different types of magic and spiritual communities, world religions, and things of that nature, Western esotericism, sorcery, shamanism, etc., I decided I wanted to start practicing. And I came across a course by Jason Miller, his strategic sorcery course, which if you are interested in, getting a better education in magic and being, setting yourself on a path to more of an adept practice that goes beyond basic technologies such as sigilization, I highly suggest it. The course when I entered, I want to say back in 2013, was $125. It may be more or less at this point, but it's totally worth it. Now, that being said, at the time, I was in my mid-20s, and I wasn't making a great salary at the time. I was still in an entry-level position at the company that I was working for. And when I came across this course, I thought, you know what, this will give me tactics and technologies that I think I could implement in a sales and marketing environment, which is what I was working in, and it will help me to not only improve my own career, but also be able to implement some of these things in a way that will lead to more sales and greater success in marketing and sales for the company. So I created, charged, and destroyed a sigil with the statement of intent being that the company that I was working for would actually pay for the course in Magic by Jason Miller. After I created the sigil, charged it, and destroyed it, I then asked my boss for the opportunity to explain the course to him. Obviously, this was a big risk, but fortunately my boss at the time was open-minded, a semi-spiritual person who I noticed had books and objects on his desk that were related to Buddhism and Eastern religions. So I knew that he was open-minded enough that while it was a risk to do this, it was at least worth a shot. I explained what I thought were scientific connections surrounding the practice of magic, which could potentially explain how these things could be used when properly implemented to boost the efficiency and success of sales and marketing endeavors. He agreed after my presentation, and he had the chief financial officer of the company cut a check for the entirety of the cost of the course, and the company paid for my entry into Jason Miller's strategic sorcery course. So I have many other success stories, and if you just Google certain topics around sigil magic success stories and whatnot, you'll be able to find plenty of articles and videos on YouTube, on Google, Bing, search engines. But I wanted to share this information with you guys because it is a very easy, very powerful form of magic that does not require a belief in spirituality, demons, gods, angels, any of that. And from a purely psychological perspective, can still cause incredible change internally to you, the magician, which then causes changes that would not have happened otherwise in the external universe. So regardless of whether you are spiritual or not, it's an interesting technology that can be leveraged to manifest the desires of your life. Now, obviously, like anything else, you're not going to be an expert at this when you start doing it. I would suggest starting small. For example, doing a sigil for something that's just slightly out of the ordinary. I found a purple tennis ball. Most tennis balls are yellow. So a purple one would be a little bit more obscure, and finding such a thing would be a good way to prove that, okay, there is something to this process. I would suggest going, one step higher, up, 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 until you are sigilizing for things that are significantly more intense, bigger desires, and you will find that through practice and through, taking a look at your failures and recalibrating and continuing while keeping in mind what mistakes you made as you move forward, you will be able to progressively manifest bigger and better things. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. There are plenty of people who are experts in this topic. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself one, but I do understand the technology enough that I thought I could make a video that will be useful to you guys to help you be able to start manifesting the things that you most want in your life. So thanks for watching, and I do hope to see you here for the next video. But until then, have a great day. Peace.